Welcome to Up to the Minute, the Friday edition of the show. I'm Todd Duplantis. Good to have you with us. We're live from the HCCTV studios this morning to wrap up your work week. And we've got a great guest who's going to be joining us for the show. That's coming up in just a moment. But first, my co-host joining me from his home studio, Frank Cooper's in the house. Good to see you again, Frank.
What's going on, boss man? Happy Friday to you, man.
Happy Friday. We hadn't seen you in quite some time. You've been busy, Frank?
Yeah, man. They got me working over here, man. I feel like an adult now. I got meetings and stuff and social media strategy.
You got meetings. I know you got meetings. You got all types of things going on, but also you handle our social media. Folks didn't know your day job is you handle a lot of our social media. While you do that, why don't you tell people where they can always find us in social media?
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live right now on Facebook and YouTube, but we also on Twitter and Instagram as well. For YouTube, click on and find HCC Houston College. Hit the notification bell for all the latest episodes Monday through Friday, except for holidays. And let's go to the show.
All right, Frank, we're going to get into our next guest because it is #Film Friday, and we've got a very special guest joining us, Charlie Minn. He's a documentary filmmaker, also the director of a new documentary out called Concert Crush. Charlie, it's good to have you on the show. Welcome to Up to the Minute.
Thank you for having me.
Let me ask you, first off, thanks for supporting our students. I understand you work with at least one of our students as an intern. Is that right?
Yeah, just this morning. And I always like giving budding filmmakers an opportunity, see what they got. I happened to visit HCC this week, spoke to a class, and I think it's important to see what talent is out there and see if they could be of assistance and they can learn a lot at the same time.
Well, we appreciate you spreading your knowledge and sharing your knowledge with our students. Want to talk about the new documentary. This is a new film about one of the most tragic incidents in the history of the city and the history of concerts. We're talking about the Astroworld tragedy. It's hard to believe it's been nearly 6 months. Obviously, this is something that's still in the news, hasn't been addressed in courts yet. You must have started on this right away. How did that process work out with getting started on this film?
Actually, the whole thing should be a documentary in itself on how the film got made. I wasn't even planning on doing a documentary on it. And I was in Houston one day, and because I was spending a lot of time in the city of Houston, my last film was about the Santa Fe High School mass shooting in Galveston County. So I happened to be in Houston, and I was with my friend, and I got an email out of nowhere saying that I should attend this press conference from one of the lawyers that represents some of the survivors from Astroworld. So just I decided to go to that press conference, and I almost got thrown into the press conference. I was all of a sudden asking a bunch of questions, and then afterwards I was introduced to all the lawyers, and then I was told that I would get first dibs on everything. So it just kind of came together. And here we are now on the day when the movie's about to be released in Houston at 3 movie theaters. All the information is on the website, concertcrushfilm.com. So, things got put together pretty quickly, but nothing was rushed. Everything was done on time. And I'm confident about the movie. It's fair, it's balanced, and it's extremely informative in my view.
For the movie itself, we are going to put some information in our social media post and where people can go to the website and actually go see the movie while it's in town. Did you crowdsource videos from the general public? Did you get any things from the courts, the lawyers? How did you get video of what happened? Because I know a lot of it was out there in social media.
Right. The main source was Houston Chronicle. This is the second consecutive film that I've worked with them. So I can't say enough about the Houston Chronicle and their fine organization. I also was able to get some video from the lawyer, as well as a couple of independent people that were kind enough to donate their video. So obviously with 50,000 people plus at the concert, everyone has their phone out. A lot of people are recording. It was very tough to pick and choose, and you want to try to select video that people have never seen before. But with so much video out there, I can't sit here and tell you that this is the first time everyone's going to watch this video because, again, so much of it is already out there. But I'm pretty confident that when most people watch the film, they're going to say, I learned a lot. I was informed. And that's really, at the end, the whole point of a documentary is to inform, educate, and raise awareness to the highest level.
What are some of the things that people are going to learn from this documentary? Some of the things that surprised you?
The truth. I mean, I interviewed 8 key witnesses, survivors that were very courageous. They came forward, and it's a minute-by-minute, play-by-play of what happened last November in Houston. And their stories are harrowing, absolutely harrowing. They could have died. They could have at least had serious injuries, and at the minimum, massive PTSD. So Travis Scott is a poor representation of Houston. He personifies death. There's no way around it. 10 people died. How do we get around that? Including a 9-year-old. Travis Scott, shame on you, along with Live Nation, Houston police, security or lack thereof. This was a disaster on every level. Again, 10 people died. That's all we need to know. That's all anyone needs to know.
Right.
It's that 10 people died, most of them kids were just starting their lives in their teens, in their early 20s. And then a 9-year-old is allowed to go to this thing and hear cuss words, hear the N-word, put your middle finger up. A 9-year-old is exposed to this. Travis Scott, what an incredible example you are to humanity. Congratulations.
We're talking with director Charlie Minn. He's completed a new documentary called Concert Crush, which is being released in Houston today. Regarding to the Astroworld tragedy that's happened back in November. I want to bring in my co-host, Frank Cooper, and get your thoughts on this, because I know, Frank, you may have a question or two regarding this new documentary.
Hey, Charlie, thank you for being on the show today. Yeah, with that tragedy that took place in November of last year, there was a lot of negligence done on everybody's part. What are you hoping to gain, like especially from a concert venue? Houston has a lot of concert venues from all over the city. Are you hoping that these concert venues from here on out will take better precaution as far as protecting its patrons and the artists itself?
To answer your question directly, 3 things I want to see come out of this film. Number 1, first and foremost, is justice for the victims. Period. Justice for the victims with a capital J, the largest J you can find. Secondly, I never want to see anyone get hurt at a concert again. Okay, I hope that people will use Astroworld as a model, on what not to do. So all concert promoters, organizers, will use Astroworld 2021 and Travis Scott as a model on what not to do. And number 3, I'd love to bridge that gap between celebrity and average citizen, the average Joe who has less money, less clout. We need to bridge that gap because no celebrity is worth putting your life on the line for. The rich get richer. The people with less money, less clout, they get the shaft, they go home. We are sitting here 6 months later with no justice. All we're hearing is that there's a criminal investigation going. So once again, the rich get richer. The people with less clout, they get the shaft. Travis Scott just announced this week that he's going to be headlining 4 more performances. 4 more. The first one being on May 7th, which is right around the corner, in Miami, 2 days after the 6-month anniversary. I have a better chance of becoming pregnant than Travis Scott even knowing that's the 6-month anniversary. I have a better chance of becoming pregnant than Scott even naming 1 out of the 10 victims who died. He has not apologized. He is a punk. He belongs in jail, along with some of these other characters who definitely played a role on November 5th, 2021, when 10 concertgoers died and 300 others were injured.
Charlie, I want to get your thoughts because certainly what happened at the Travis Scott concert was a tragedy, but it is not like this is the first time this has happened at concerts. If you go back to, the 60s, but most famously back in the late 70s, I believe 79, 80 in Cleveland before a Who concert where dozens of people were trampled, several of them died, going into a general admissions concert at an arena where the Who was going to play. The band apparently didn't know about this, played on, and then discovered after the show that people had died. Go back to the Rolling Stones, Altamont, people were getting stabbed, people were getting killed. Even in the 90s, you had Metallica and Guns N' Roses going on tour. A riot happened. People were hurt at a concert, I believe, in Toronto. So if you look back through history, this is going on, and this has happened yet once again. Do you think that we are going to learn with these large concerts, you really have to ratchet down security and make better planning, not just for Travis Scott, but for artists across all genres?
Very valid point. It's almost like mass shootings. We all say enough is enough. This cannot happen again. But yet that's all talk. It's all BS. The result is what we're judged by. And the results are horrific between mass shootings, between mass casualties. This could happen again. Absolutely. Why? Because history tells me that it happened in Cincinnati in 1979. You would think that we would all from that. But yet we have these incompetent promoters who just think about the dollar bill and they don't think about people's safety. So to answer your question, yes, I think this will happen again. I hope it doesn't happen again, but I'm just going by history. We keep saying after every mass shooting, okay, that's it, enough is enough. And while you and I are talking right now, somebody's getting shot in our country.
Yeah.
So we have so much incompetence around us. Yes, we have a lot of great people as well, but in terms of mass casualties, you made a lot of good points right there. And don't forget Ariana Grande. I mean, that was another horrific incident. But the one big difference between people like Ariana Grande and The Who is that they apologized. They were very sympathetic. Travis Scott has not apologized. And he's given one interview, and that was to Charlemagne the God. And all he said throughout the interview was, you know. He said, 430 times. 430 times he said, Travis, we don't know. That's why we're listening to you. Stop saying all the time. Stop talking like a punk. You're 31 years old. You're a father of two. Grow up.
Charlie, I want to shift gears just a bit because we want to talk about going back to you helping out young filmmakers. Obviously, you're very passionate about your work. Do you talk to the students about when you want to make a documentary, you're not just a hired gun. You have to be passionate about the product that you're producing. Do you speak with the students along those lines?
I can't teach passion. Either you got it or you don't. It's kind of like, I love hockey. I always use hockey as an example. When a guy's about to wind up and take a slap shot and you're on the other team, why do some guys literally throw their body in front of the puck and then other players will just kind of get out of the way? You can't teach these things, the guts, the passion. If you're a left fielder and there's a shallow fly ball in front of you, why do some guys get their uniform dirty and dive and try to catch it and other guys settle and play it on the bounce? I can't teach passion. Either you have it or you don't. And it's amazing how much better something if you care about it.
Charlie,
absolutely.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So putting together a documentary takes a lot of will, a lot of mental fortitude. Explain your process when you're gathering interviews, talking to people, especially from a very stressful and trying time for a documentary. Explain that process to us for people who don't know.
Once I decide what story to pursue, then I make a wish list of maybe immediately 5 to 10 people that I think would be useful for the film. So usually it deals with survivors, family members, because a lot of my films are victim driven. They deal with crime. So certainly victims, survivors, witnesses, family members, the police. Those are the people that I would start with, detectives, investigators. So that's how I attack it. And then you always have to worry about video. And sometimes video will be donated to you, which is nice. So you don't have to license anything, because then that's out of pocket money. So you got to be very diligent and organized, and it just never hurts to have an element of luck thrown in there. And it's a cool feeling when you're making a movie and everything's just clicking, and you just can't wait to get it out there. And some films are smoother than others. Some go better than others. Other projects, you're constantly putting out a fire. So you got to go in there and work with really good people. So this is a labor of love. It's all about guts and passion, and at the end, getting it done.
Charlie Minn, director of Concert Crush, about the Astroworld tragedy. He's also placed several films, a good number of them, with Amazon and also Lionsgate. Charlie, we appreciate you telling us about the documentary. We appreciate your passion, and we thank you for your dedication to sharing your passion with our students.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me, and I'll be at Showbiz Kingwood in case any HCC students want to come out tonight.
We will post the links to your movie in our social media post after the show. Thanks, Charlie.
Thank you, Charlie.
All right, we are going to move on to, we've got a couple of things to discuss, but first, Frank, before we get to our next announcements, we got to say, I mean, a lot of passion in there. I mean, he obviously has been digging through this, and people may be watching right now saying, well, wait a second here. You know, he said some things I don't agree with, but you know what? That's kind of what documentaries are all about. You know, it's not whether you agree with the documentary, but at least you get to see another viewpoint of the story.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan, and you know this, Todd, of film and arts, and whether it's poetry, whether it's, you know, directing or acting, once you become so enthralled in a project, you become that project. Yeah. And I can't imagine the amount of emotions it took putting together this documentary, watching the videos over and over. He's a director, so watching film director, so watching these videos over and over again, people getting hurt and trampled and dying, and then talking to the victims' families, the eyewitnesses. As a filmmaker, as a creator, it takes a toll on you. So I definitely understand the passion and emotion, and you know, you can't rationalize emotion.
No, you can't. Human, you know, and you can't. And you know, I've got to say, I'm a good documentary fan. I like the documentaries that are very well made. 3 of the best that I've seen over the past several years are about people that I never thought I'd appreciate a documentary on. One was on Jimmy Carter, one was on Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and another was on Mr. Rogers. I don't know if you've seen the 3 movies out there, but they're incredible pieces of work. But it's about immersing you into a subject you may not know a whole lot about. Of course, I knew a lot about Mr. Rogers. The other 2 didn't know a lot about, but at the end of it, I got to at least experience or hear about them as a person and learn more. Whether or not I agreed with them, it's something I got a chance to learn about.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I think documentaries are very important too, because it gives you another perspective that you might not even know. You know, and right. I think it's very important not to be so one-sided on things. It's good to hear things out and hear another perspective, just to gain that knowledge. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power.
And he was obviously very immersed with the victims of this tragedy. And we've got to say that this whole thing with the Astroworld tragedy, it's still playing out in court. The investigations are still ongoing. This isn't over with, and the story is not told yet. So it's still evolving. So the movie is tonight and this weekend. We'll have some links in our social media post if you wish to go see that. And he certainly is a big supporter of our HCC students. Okay, a couple of announcements to get to. It is we're going to talk about some sports in just a second, Frank. But first things first, Central Dance Ensemble, that is happening tonight at the Central College.
This annual concert is a collection of dance works from faculty and guest artists. Continues tonight at 7:30. It's free. No money, nothing. Just free at the High-End Theater Central Campus.
Yes, in Women's Wednesdays Roundtable, Women Who Lead, HCC's entrepreneurial initiatives, is offering an 8-week interactive program for women to share their expertise and personal experience in leadership. The next one is happening on Wednesday. In fact, it's every Wednesday. May the 4th is the next one, 12:30 to 2 p.m. Capability Statement is the title, and Marchette Turner, MBDA, is the guest speaker. We'll have some information on how to get in touch with them and attend the event in our social media post. Sports, okay, there's an exhibition going on at the West Loop Gallery, Frank.
Yes, and it's of paintings by visual arts faculty member Brian Gardner, entitled Sports, is on display at the West Loop Gallery. It's now through May 9th, West Loop Gallery in HCC Southwest, right off the 610 Loop.
Okay, and the STEM Summer Camp Series, that's returning. Of course, we believe they had some things going on virtually over the last couple of years, but they're returning in person this year, and it's HCC's Community Learning Program. They're hosting a STEM summer camp for youth across the district to promote the new Katy campus. They're partnering with Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Program. The Drone Swift Camp sounds interesting. You can fly drone and learn some coding as well. June 27th through July 1st at HCC's Southwest Stafford campus. For more information, we'll give you a link in our social media post after the show. Registration's underway, Frank. 5 ways to learn, but you need to get on board now. It's not too early to be thinking about fall 2022.
Not at all. You can still register for the summer classes, but fall 22 registration has begun. Now, everyone can enroll in a class. Course options, of course, are online anytime, online is scheduled, the hybrid model, you can come in person, or a hybrid lab. All students should contact their instructors for details and check their HCC emails for the latest postings for changes. Now, for registration, all HCC programs, go to hccs.edu/apply.
All right. Make sure you register today. Now's a good time to not only register, but get all that financial aid out of the way. Sign up early, get the FAFSA done, get your application done, see about getting maybe some scholarships. There are a lot of grants available to help you pay for school right now. So sign up, get it underway, and be locked in for the fall. Okay, Frank, a little sports talk. I think something pretty big happened yesterday. I'm going to be the first to say I didn't watch it. I don't even know why, one of the major stations spent the whole night on primetime network TV showing the NFL draft. But hey, I guess someone watched it. Did you watch any of it?
I watched every bit of it. I watched every.
Oh, well, there you go. You're the target audience.
I did. Are
you going to buy the products they advertised during the commercials?
No. So last night I was in Sports Euphoria last night, Todd. I had the Mavericks game on the big screen. Yeah. I had the draft on my laptop, and I had it on mute. But like on my peripheral, I could see, the ESPN draft ticket, like dun 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 dun, the big old sign coming up with the name. I would look, I was like, okay, they drafted for such and such. Oh, cool. And I'll watch the highlights and then go right back to the game. But the Texans got a player, man. They got a player. Daryl Stingley he was a D1 high school player coming in 2019. The year they LSU won the championship. He has receiver skills as a cornerback. He didn't play in 2020 due to the pandemic and underlying health issues, so he sat out. But they have a top 5 talent come out of college, and that's what you need. For the Texans, they just need talent everywhere. All
around. They got a defensive lineman for their 15th pick, and they still got a number of picks within the top 80 or so that are coming up. So, you read in social media, people are just going after him. I don't know. I mean, I remember him going after a young man named J.J. Watt when they picked him. I don't know if you remember that. People were criticizing him. Oh, he would have been available in the 3rd round if you would have just waited. Why are you wasting your pick? They were, it was a mess back then. But you never know what these young men can do.
Absolutely. And look, the Texans are devoid of talent. You just need to get talent all across the board. It's hard to be upset about a pick when you have so many holes, Todd. Like, they have holes on both sides of the ball. So for me, it's like, get the best athletes, get the best players, get the best decorated guys, all conference guys, and just plug them in because you need talent. You just do. And they made a commitment. The young quarterback from Stanford is going to be the guy, which a lot of people might not agree with. But you know what though? That shows me you have a plan. That That shows me that you're giving this kid every opportunity to be successful. And now over the next 80 picks, you have 7 of them. This is the time where you fill holes. You fill the offensive line. You get more receiving help. You get more D-line help. Like this is the time to start building your team through the draft.
Yeah, Davis Mills, certainly he had a disastrous, I think it was his first full game. It was disastrous, legendarily bad. But he really picked up his game. He learned a lot. And by the end of the season, kind of all in with this young man. He was a 3rd-round pick. You never know. You never know what could happen. But he certainly looked good towards the end of the season. Yeah,
the San Fran game last year impressed me. That beat San Fran, and he didn't have any turnovers in that game. He looked good.
Yeah. He got better as the season progressed. He seemed to learn, which a lot of rookies, they don't get to that step. So we'll see what happens in year 2 with him and with the Texans. Who knows? Only place left to go is up. I mean, why not? Why can't they get better than maybe win 5 games this year? The Astros, not looking that great, Frank, but it's still very, very, very early in the season.
I mean, this is the Astros doing the typical April, May. We're going to just chill and get healthy and, not hit for a while. They do this. They do this. And then come June 1st, they just run away with the AL West. Like, look, I'm not a believer of the Rangers. I'm a Rangers fan. I'm not a believer of the Rangers. I'm not a believer of the Angels. Yes, the Angels got 2 dynamic hitters in that lineup, but they can't pitch with a nothing. The A's can't hit. So it's going to, after a while, over the next 145 games, the Astros talent is going to shine through and they'll win the division. Like there's no, you can't tell me to my face why they can't win the division. You just can't. So,
So if you see Frank in person, don't tell him to his face why the Astros can't win. I think, Parrish, you know Parrish here. I think he's going to tell you that next time. He's going to tell you why he thinks the Astros can't win. All right, Frank, we're going to wrap up today's show. Monday, we got a special guest. He happens to be the uncle of one of our co-hosts, Mike B. He's going to talk and sing some gospel music. So we'll hear about that for Music Monday. And also, Frank, we've got the return of one of our favorite guests for Mental Health Monday.
Absolutely. Dr. Sean Fitzpatrick, Executive Director of the Jung Center of Houston, will be here for our monthly mental health checkup. Got checking for that, man. Mental health is very, very important.
That's right. We will see you next week. Have a great weekend. Frank, we'll see you next week, maybe here on Up to the Minute.
Next Friday, same time, same place.
All right. We'll see all of you Monday morning live, 10 a.m. right here for Up to the Minute.